Hello, new video. Today we're going to take a look at the Lucario in the Open Master League. We don't have the Mega Variant here, but still Mega Variant recently got released. A very good Pokemon, by the way, for Rocket Grunts. Maybe I'm gonna make a video about our Rocket Grunts as well and how to beat them. But anyway, we're gonna take a look here at a team with the Palkia and the Necrozma core again, because Necrozma together with Palkia is nearly a perfect core, and basically, you're gonna be able to get out the Pokemon that Lucario doesn't want to face if you say swap your Necrozma. Necrozma being also part Steel type, going to be able to get out something like a Ho-Oh, something like a maybe Groudon, something like the Water type Pokemon as well, because you have the lead of the Palkia and you can still at least do something with it. Oh, look at this, we're gonna get out a Garchomp, which is quite a unique Pokemon for the Master League. You barely really see this Pokemon anymore. But as you can see, we have Outrage for this Pokemon. So Outrage still our little sneaky move here on our Necrozma. Still, in my opinion, the better move to go for, better than Dark Pulse. I know there are going to be some scenarios, especially in the mirror matchup, where Dark Pulse is going to be way better, or against something like a Metagross. But at the end of the day, I would definitely recommend you to go for Outrage. Outrage is so much fun on this Pokemon. Here we'll see the Sunsteel Striker gonna get shielded, and now it's down to maybe our Lucario to win this battle. Lucario only having around 3000 CP is of course not really ideal, but Force Palm is going to still chunk quite a bit and the opponent just decides to forfeit. Spoiler alert, there are going to be some fun battles as well with Lucario, where Lucario really did a lot of things, so definitely stay tuned for this. Anyway, next opponent we're going to have a lovely lead of Ho-Oh against our Palkia. They stay in as well. You could actually decide to swap out of here into your Necrozma, by the way, after hitting the first Awkward here, because they usually go straight for the Brave Bird anyway and swap out afterwards. But they swap out into the Xerneas, allowing us to hard counter them with the Necrozma. We can go ahead and go for the Sunsteel Strike before they even go for a charge move, which is a huge mistake from the opponent, allowing us to knock them out before they even go for anything and they decide to forfeit, not knowing that we had a Lucario on the back. Next opponent, we're going to have a horrible lead, but our backline, both our Pokemon are going to be quite decent against them. And honestly, Dialga is the best matchup for the Lucario, which we will very likely gonna see later on as well. Like, this matchup is actually really good. We have the Power Punch here. Like, I think suggested moves is actually a Thunder Punch on Lucario. I would not recommend you to go for the suggested moves. That I have two moves that are viable. Either go for Shadow Ball and Power Punch, or Shadow Ball in close combat. Anything else doesn't make sense in the current meta, and I'm definitely standing by this. I don't think Thunder Punch makes any kind of sense. Yeah, you're going to be able to do more damage against something like a Ho-Oh or like a Togekiss or like a Kyogre, but Thunder Punch is a bad move, and you don't have already the stats for this league, so you kind of need to make up by this by having very hard hitting charge moves in order to do even any kind of damage. And so there is no reason for you to go ahead and go for Thunder Punch on Lucario or Blaze Kick either. Blaze Kick could make some sense as well, but yeah, usually doesn't. But you know what's kind of funny? Lucario being able to have a Shadow Ball here against a Pokemon that's 4-time weak against Ghost typing. Let's see on this gonna go. Actually, I was a little bit surprised that they actually still get to the Dark Pulse here. But it doesn't matter, as you're going to be able to go for a hard-hitting move. And we're going to be able to now also go ahead and go back into our Palkia. Can we outspeed the opponent? We cannot. And this is something that happened quite often with this team. I lost quite a lot of battles because I don't have Spatial Rent on my Palkia. It is quite a shame, to be fair, that you are not able to get Spatial Rent right now with like something like an Elite Term. It's not an elite move. It is a non-obtainable move right now, which is just ridiculous. Honestly, like, please, Niantic, give us a chance here to at least get like those signature moves onto the Pokemon that we rated for. It is so silly that it's currently only for, like certain ones where you are a little bit lucky. Anyway, we're going to see here the Groudon from the opponent running Dragon Tail, making it a little bit easier for us. That's why we swapped also into this Pokemon, didn't stay in, because Dragon Tail is super effective against our lead, but it's not going to be too great against the Pokemon that we have here right now, against the Necrozma. We can knock them out with a Sunsteel Strike, and then comes again the Giratina, which we can try to hit with that Outrage. I think they're going to use a shield here anyway. Let's see. They decided to use a shield. Now we have to see what we can do here still in the back. Maybe we can land a Shadow Ball later on. We decided to use a shield here though against the opponent, seeing what they have there. We're gonna have the Shadow Ball coming in, and it's going to be in the back that Lugia. Honestly, maybe if I let the move go through, I had a good chance of winning the battle just with Lucario, because they're double weak to Ghost typing, and so Shadow Ball is going to chunk quite a bit. As you're going to see here, we're going to be able to two-shot them most likely as well. But of course, we don't have shields anymore, and so they can go freely for an Arrow Blast, knock me out here, and there is nothing I can do about it, as they are going to be able to also still get to another move here against our Palkia. Good game there, still interesting one there for sure. If we kind of maybe used the shields a bit differently, we would have had a chance here. Next opponent, we're going to encounter Necrozma in the lead. Not ideal for us at all, but it's going to be something that we can still play out. They swap out straight away into the Kyurem, allowing us to go into our Lucario, and this is going to be a lovely matchup. We resist every single hit from the opponent. It's going to be even only the Dragon Claw not doing any damage at all, and we can go for the Power Punch plus Force Palm, which is just lovely, getting a lot of energy here as well still against the opponent while farming them down. Enough energy to get to that Shadow Ball now in time as well. The Shadow Ball is coming through against the opponent, Necrozma. Let's see if they're going to let the move go through. We are +1. They do not, sadly, but it's still going to be such a great matchup for us. We gained a shield plus switch advantage, and that's something that's definitely worth it here for Lucario. Well done there, Lucario. Let's see what the opponent is going to try to do next. It's going to be a Dark Pulse, so we know they're not running Outrage. Actually saw someone recently running both moves, Outrage as well as Dark Pulse, so that's kind of an interesting choice from them. But in this point, we are deciding to swap out into our Necrozma. We're going to try our best here against the opponent's Palkia. We're gonna have the Orchid Tail coming up against us, but we have our Outrage, and a lot of people don't expect this move at all. And so let's see if the opponent going to shield here or not. They decide to let the move go through, getting hit hard by them. And now we're going to have also our Necrozma against the opponent's Necrozma again. We're going to be able to use a shield onto the Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse is going to get shielded up. We can go for the Outrage. This should be enough to knock them out. It is gonna get the shield from the opponent as well. As I said, not running Outrage, I should be kind of fine here. We can go for the Awkward here and we can win this battle. Again, Lucario actually did quite a lot in this battle, knocking out that Kyurem, getting a shield advantage and switch advantage as well. Moving on, the next opponent, Great Lead Force. Again, you can stay in here for a little bit. Most opponents are just gonna go for Brave Bird and like let the first Awkward Tail go through, which we wanna do here as well. We're gonna go for the Awkward Tail. Now we could decide to swap out into our Necrozma to catch the move, and we do exactly this, which is kind of hilarious because now there's going to be a resisted hit coming through. It's going to be a Brave Bird, we can easily take it, and they swap out into the Dialga. I am going to be able to even reach out to the Outrage here as well, which is going to be great. This is doing a lot of damage if they let the move go through, which they don't this time around. They decide to use a shield, and that's actually kind of fine for me because they can get a ton of energy, but I should be able to go into my Lucario afterwards, go for one Power Punch maybe, and just farm them down otherwise. Let's see what we're going to do here. We could even go for the full farm down at this point. We snuck in the move there as well. I should just go for the full farm down, especially as they go for the Roar of Time here. No reason to go for a charge move. And now we have a ton of energy onto our Pokemon. They swap back into the Ho-Oh. I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball, trying to knock them out here. Let's see if they're going to let the move go through or not. They decide to let the move go through, and in the back, it is going to be that Necrozma in the back. And so Lucario has the opportunity to completely destroy the opponent. I'm going to go for the bait here, hoping they use a shield, but they don't. They call my bait, and that is so unfortunate for us. But as soon as we're going to get the shield from the opponent once, we're going to be fine with a Shadow Ball, and they shield up the next move afterwards, which doesn't make any sense at all for them to win the game. Like, it doesn't make any sense because now they can let the move go through. They can go for the Dark Pulse even. That is a wrong bait from the opponent. With this, they decide to forfeit. I'm kind of really sad about that game because it would have been nearly a full sweep of Lucario in the Open Master League, which would be so hilarious to see. But yeah, it is what it is. Wrongly baited, and then the opponent forfeits before I could actually go for the Shadow Ball. But it's what it is. Anyway, we're gonna get hardballed in the next battle. There are a lot of people trying to hunt down, I think, the team that I'm running right now. Like, not with the Lucario, but with like AP different steel type in the back, which is fine. But as you're gonna see here, we are going to be able to go into our Palkia. Palkia can take a hit, and we are going to hope that our Lucario can win the battle for us. Brave Bird coming through, we should be able to farm down in time, which we can. And they are gonna swap out now into a Lugia. That is not ideal. I don't even reach out for the Spatial Rent anymore, which is really annoying because I don't even have, of course, the move. But like here at this point, the opponent didn't fall for it, and then there's nothing I can do. Like, there's nothing I can do. I needed the shield from the opponent to have any chance at all. I can go for the Power Punch, and with this, I can farm them down before they can go for 2 charge moves. Of course, they always can get to 1 charge move here. But yeah, at the end of the day, I just had to get the shield somewhere. And I guess the opponent is going to try to play a no-shield challenge apparently here, because the Shadow Ball would have been enough to knock them out from this range very likely after the +1 buff onto our attack. And so them calling the bait here is ridiculous. Like, this does not make any sense at all in my opinion. Like, they played it way too risky there. Next opponent, Dialga in the lead, horrible lead force. We can swap out straight away into our Necrozma just to get hardwalled by the Ho-Oh. Like, again, a lot of people are hunting the Necrozma plus Palkia core. I'm actually curious if there's one single Pokemon that can beat both of them. I guess Dragon Tail on Groudon comes close to it, because at least they have super effective coverage on the charge moveset for the Necrozma and on the false moveset for the Palkia. but I actually wonder if there's a single Pokemon that can beat both of those, because, I don't know, like, I feel like Necrozma plus the Palkia is nearly a perfect core right now. Like, I think there's nothing that can really break this core. So here we have to take another Brave, but basically, like, we have this team like 20 times already. Like, this is the thing with Master League. A lot of teams are just kind of similar to each other. And so they actually have the Necrozma in the back, which gives us the opportunity to still maybe win. But we have to be a little bit mindful of this one here. Actually, apparently Zekrom and Reshiram can both beat Necrozma, Duskmane, and Palkia, but I highly doubt it, to be fair. But yeah, at this point we're going to be able to use a shield onto the Outrage. We are going to be able to reach that Shadow Ball, but I think we're just a tiny bit too low on health here to still do enough against the Dialga. We're gonna see the damage is coming through, that is kind of fine, but sadly again we don't have Spatial Rend, and I don't think we would have been able to reach Spatial Rend anyway, so good game there to the opponent. Nothing I can do, it was just a hard wall matchup, to be fair. I don't know why I did there. I could have just stayed in. Like, I could have just stayed in. The opponent has a double resisted fast move that is non-stab, and then they only have like Psychic Fangs, which is going to end up after a while, but like it's such a bad matchup for them. And I swap out into a matchup where it is not ideal for us at all, so I don't know why I did that. Like, honestly, there was a very silly play by me. We're gonna get the shield from the opponent, but then again, like, yeah, like I can still go for another Outrage here. But the opponent is going to be in a very solid spot, getting up a ton of energy, but they're still going to be forced to use another charge move here, which is hilarious. I could realign if I wanted to, but I'd rather keep the shield advantage, especially for my Lucario in the back. Was it the right call? We will find out shortly. Do they have another answer to me in the back? We will see here soon. It's going to be the Dragonite, and Dragonite would have been fine for my Palkia, of course, but because of the debuff before, I kind of want to swap out of here. I can use a shield onto the Dragon Claw. All kind of good. I can go for the Shadow Ball as well, which is going to do quite a lot of damage. For sure, this is going to be able to connect now, get a ton of damage onto them, and they swap onto their final Pokemon, being the Palkia. And honestly, I have actually a very solid spot here still, because what I can do is I can go for a Shadow Ball, I can get the shield from the opponent, we can get them really low, and we can try to go for the full farm down here. But the issue is we still don't have Spatial Rend. We can take even the Awkward Tail bait here, which actually works out for whatever reason. And if I had Spatial Rend at this point, I would have been fine, because I can fully farm them down. And fully farming them down allows us to get a ton of energy onto our Pokemon, but just barely not enough to go for the Spatial Rend, because it's yeah, unobtainable legacy move. But again, I want to rather build my Shondo Pokemon here. As you're gonna see, the opponent's voice with like 3 HP, and this is going to be it for this one. We can move on to the final one. This was by far my favorite battle. We're gonna see here how horrible Elite Four is. We can swap out into our Necrozma, and they stay in for a little bit, so they're very likely a little bit weak to us in the back, but we have to see what it's going to be in the back that is so weak against us. So we're gonna see the opponent going for no shield here onto our Outrage, which is cool. They swap out into their own Necrozma, which is fine. We can go for the Sunsteel Strike, which is very fine for us as well, doing a ton of damage if it's going to connect here, which they actually use a shield on, which I'm a little bit surprised, because they know that I'm not drawing Dark Pulse, but they're still forced to go for their own charge move, and so we're actually in a very solid spot in terms of getting the opponent a little bit low while maintaining our shields, and maintaining our shields for the Lucario can be definitely crucial. We saw already the charge move coming through from the opponent, but I still kind of want to keep my Palkia healthy, and so I decided to use a shield here, as I should be able to outspeed them to the next one. But I actually decided to go for the full farm now instead, which is an interesting play here. Dark Pulse is coming through, the opponent is staying in here, and I have to hope that I can fully farm them down here, which I can. This is going to be great, but they have a perfect answer in the back. It is going to be the Tapu Bulu. And you might think this game is over, because Tapu Bulu is going to be able to wall both of our movesets. And you might be right, you might be wrong, we will find out shortly. The opponent swaps out into the Dialga, allowing my Lucario to actually take a hit here and go for the full farm down. This was a huge mistake by the opponent, especially as our other Pokemon, our Palkia, is still left there with one charge move stored, which is very important maybe later on. What we have to do here is we have to go for the Power Punch and hope that the opponent is going to decide to use a shield eventually, because Awkward Tail is not in range yet to knock them out. We need more damage onto them, but we also need to get rid of the final shield here, and as I can reach another move, the opponent is going to be definitely in a tough spot here. Power Punch coming through, getting the shield, and with this, we are still the Awkward Tail, and we came back from a complete hardwall matchup, from a horrible lead for us, just because, yeah, I don't know, like it just kind of went all into our favor later on, which is kind of hilarious. Like this, we can win this battle. Hope you enjoyed this video. For Lucario and the Master League a little bit late today, but it's what it is, and I hope I see you then. Bye bye.